Thank you very much, David, for this opportunity, and thanks everyone for coming. So I'll be doing some comedy and poetry today. I took a comedy class last fall from the Brooklyn Comedy Collective, which really gave me the comedy bug or rebit me or something. At the end of the class, we had a class performance complete with audience. So I'd like to start with what was pretty much my set. It was tweaked here and there, but hi, I'm Merilee Johnson. Thanks for coming out. I mean, thanks for coming to the show. I'm proud of you if you came out. That's really great. I'm a big supporter of the LGBTQIA plus community. It's like pie. You only have to remember the first 8 letters. So here's my history with these letters. L is for lesbian. I came out in college. I was standing in the closet with one foot out, reaching around for my high heels. Q is for questioning. Was I lesbian? Why high heels? It makes it hard to march in pride parades. B is for bisexual. Now I thought I was straight, but there's no letter S. I bought a pair of hiking boots, androgynous. Q is for questioning. Was I bisexual? I hate hiking boots, but there's still a pair in the back of my closet. A is for asexual. I'm so glad I didn't end up with any of the men I dated. There were very few women. Now I can go to the closet, take out my slippers, curl up on the couch and watch comedy videos and eat popcorn. Focus. Q is for questioning. Am I asexual? Do I want to come out as not wanting sex? Do I want to wear slippers for the rest of my life? So my letters are LQ, BQ, AQ. Sounds like a Subway snafu. I'm from Iowa, born and bred. I hope that's not too personal. We all know how babies are made. The most photogenic thing in my hometown is the water tower. When I take pictures of it, I take it off to an angle so you don't see all the letters of the town on the side of it. That way, if I post the picture on Facebook, no one can stalk my family. It was kind of nice growing up in a small town to a point. And when I reached that point, I hightailed it to New York City. It's great to live in a town where not everyone knows my secrets. But I went back to my high school class reunion. We all exchanged Facebook information. So much for shaking the dust of that small town off my shoes. I still go back to Iowa a couple times a year to visit my family. We're close, but I feel like the black sheep of the family. For one thing, they never laugh at my jokes. Maybe they don't know their jokes. Maybe they think I'm just being obnoxious. Also, we have religious differences. We grew up in a strong Protestant household. My brother and sister still are strong Protestants. I, on the other hand, became an atheist in the Bible Belt and still am. Recently, at a family dinner, we all gathered around. My brother called for silent grace. We bowed our heads. After a moment, I tearfully said, praying out loud, thank you for my family. Yep, I played the atheist might come to Jesus card. Shameless. So I took a mental health day today from my therapist. It's depressing talking about all the bad things in my life, you know. Maybe I should buy her flowers, help her look forward to my appointments. Happy therapist, happy client. I've been in therapy long enough that I've heard a variety of diagnoses, taken a variety of medication, but I feel like I know their diagnoses too. My therapist scribbles in her notebook. I pull out one of mine. Notebook face off. Ah, textbook psychosis. Or is her cigar just a cigar? Well, my current therapist is actually pretty nice. I can't seem to trip her up. It's good to have someone who's solidly in your court. I've been thinking lately about the differences between therapists and priests. My therapist and I have a recurring appointment every week, same time, so she must have a fairly thick calendar. A priest, on the other hand, doesn't know when someone who comes to confession might be coming back again. He doesn't even know their names. So I have to think he has a pretty thin calendar. Maybe it has things like take robe to dry cleaners, communion wafer sale at Target. You know, they both hear people's sins all day, sometimes the same ones over and over again. Recently, my therapist said to me, Oh, you had an affair with a married man, yada, yada, yada. It's 50% his fault, so you are hereby absolved. But I feel like I really need to be called to task in order to feel that absolution. Where can I go to get the blame I was craving? I could go to a priest, but priest, atheist, not so sure. What I know about confession, I heard on TV. I know you go in and you say, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned." And then as penance, he makes you wear a necklace and count beads like an abacus. I'm not clear. But that seems like a really wimpy punishment. In the old days, they used to stone adulterers to death. And adultery is still on the books in some New York states, and some states, including New York, but it hasn't been prosecuted for a while. In those days, they used to give you anywhere from 3 days to life in prison. In the military, you would serve a year in a military brig, whatever that is, maybe a jail or a pond. I'm not sure. So I've been thinking, what would be an appropriate punishment for me? My dad used to spank me as a kid. Maybe I could go to a dominant submissive party. Just ask them to wallop me. There's nothing like a red stinging butt to make you feel forgiven. That's the end of that set. Thank you very much. Next, I've got another short piece that I wrote in that class. I'm getting older. Just wanted to let you know I'm aware. Every day I see more age spots, wrinkles, and other problem areas, like, well, my nose hairs project. I think they've always been like that, though. I think this is a lifelong condition. But what would I do to address that? I went online and I found this gadget with these small whirling razor blades. Like, I'm going to stick that up my nose? I think that sometimes women are too conscious about where there's hair, where there's not supposed to be. So I have a feeling those are actually intended for older men, not only for nose hair, but for ear hair. I know men are concerned about balding, but I think they should be glad about the hair they have on the rest of their bodies. Like, ear hair could really be considered virile. I'm imagining an 80-year-old man in front of the mirror flexing, "Oh, yeah, look at that ear hair. I'm sexy." See, who needs Viagra? So I went back to the archives for this next piece and I kind of had fun revisiting several others. So you're going to hear some old stuff. I don't know if any of you have heard them. If so, how many times? But anyway, this first one I performed in November 2022 at the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. Note the t-shirt, hybrid open mic from the cafe itself. Some of you might remember those days. This one's called Just Read the Damn Poem Already. Excuse me. Okay, so this poem I wrote when I was between boyfriends and I was kind of upset and okay, yeah, I'll read the poem now. When he came over, I was dressed up and ready, and he looked the way he usually did, which is to say slovenly. Okay, but I don't really want to insult him because sometimes he looks good and okay, go on, right. He looked at me with those blue eyes, held out his hand, and I felt like a princess in contrast to him, but I tossed back my hair like my pony tossing her mane. I mean, I don't really have a pony, but for the purposes of this poem, right. Hmm. He really seemed to like that. He wanted to gallop me, to speed off into the sunset with me, hanging onto the halter I let him bind me with. I mean, I haven't really done that binding kind of thing, but poetically it kind of seemed like, okay, go on, right. And so he threw one leg over me, slid over the top of me, and gently tapped me with the reins to let me know he wanted me to go, just go, just let him ride me into the sunset or into my bed or wherever was close. And then well, you know, he the slovenly prince and me the trussed up pony. I mean, I don't advocate bestiality, but for the purposes of sex play, I mean this poem. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Ah. That's the end of the poem. I mean, you can clap if you want to. Thanks. So here's another oldie goldie called The Price of Peace and Quiet. So relaxing to take the subway. Let someone else do the driving. Just gonna write a bit. Ugh, oh my God. Over here we have phones playing. Who'll take phones playing? It's a game. It's a Hulu clip. We have one. Who'll take two? We have two, two, two. Over here, third. It's music without earbuds. Who'll take music without earbuds? No earphones, no sound stoppage at all. People going once, going twice. Wait, there's another entry. We have entertainers singing off key to their guitars, singing off key, off key, off key. And now we have a music speaker cranked up and pulled dancing hip hoppers. Who'll take hip hoppers, or now they're spinning on their heads on the floor, hip hoppers. And now a subway delay, everyone, a subway delay. Who take a subway delay, delay, delay. And now a transfer to another train. Who knows which one? Transfer, transfer. Who'll take a transfer? Person in a Gap hoodie by the back door bidding 25. Who'll bid 30? 30 over here from someone flouncing in a huge peacock hat. 35. 35 from a person wearing plaid, so out of date. Oh, wait, folks, there's a subway announcement. Sounds urgent, but no one can understand. Might want to take that transfer just in case. And peacock bids 40. Now adding to the bidding, peace and quiet. Who'll bid 45? 45. 45 for peace and quiet from a pissed-looking writer with notebook. 50 from peacock, 55 from plaid, 60 from pissed, 65 plaid, 70 pissed, 75 plaid. Pissed writer has now bid 200. Anyone 205? Going once, going twice. Peace and quiet sold for 200 to pissed writer. And now there's a man spreading his legs, hogging the seat space. Man spread. Who'll bid? Hey, pissed, where are you going? You just won the bidding for peace and quiet. Well, now that's an impolite gesture. Who'll bid 25 for impolite gesture? 25, 25. Thank you. And now I'm going to do a few poems for a change and 6-word stories. So I'll start out with some haikus. You're welcome to crash in my heart next weekend since I'll be out of town. New York crowds, you'd think raindrops couldn't pass through the sea of umbrellas. Graffitied fingers, one fist hate, the other love. Which would punch someone? Homeless in America, an invisibility trick, sans cloak. I place my feet over footprints from whence I came, home. A single raindrop travels in a cloud, free falls to my knee. Flight between time zones, bracing for turbulence, baggage inside me. I hope this didn't cause a kerfuffle and make feathers ruffle. This is called Whole Foods delivery. Map still says I'm next. Green dot falls in the river. Phew, bread's not soggy. A wedge of despair. Caved dreams. I mourn the loss of... They forgave me! Yes! Do 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 do. Woo-hoo! Now I've got some 5- and 6-word stories and poems. We laughed so hard, then didn't. Sometimes I'm someone I remember being. Day breaks the edge of sleep. Burning words at the stake. Flowers on wrist, not yet kissed. Novelty haikus, 2-for-1 sale. Kindergartners bringing their ABC game. Light bulbs were once an idea. They met our family's birth. Mom remembers, speaks unintelligibly. We are thrilled. I cradled her, who cradled me. Brother, sister, your love means all. Mom's alive, so are we. Gratitude. Now I'm going to read a few pankus. A panku was invented by Elizabeth Sophia Strauss, aka Deadpan Lizzie, and it takes 3 possible forms. The first one is the one I do most often. It's just 9 words. Another form is 9 lines of 9 words. The third is an epic version, which is 9 stanzas of 9 lines of 9 words. The first two pankus refer to a poetry film project of Finn Hall's I was involved in, along with many other poets. We each read a portion of The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, and my brother videotaped me on his smartphone in Iowa. Videotaping poetry by a field, highway in the background. Iowa winter landscape, fields barren of snow and corn. Sometimes just changing a light bulb feels like self-care. Sunshine on graffitied buildings. I love New York scenery. Here's a short joke. If I ever get arrested and they want a mugshot, I'm going to play hardball. I want a package deal. 1 8x10, 2 5x7, 10 wallet size. The next one is a string of haikus as one piece. Haiku string, casting words like pearls before rhyme. The world is my oyster. Haiku. Tickle in by doze, handkerchief handy. Now a mucus expulsion. Achoo! Haiku. Fiddling with a doohickey, puzzling at directions, a new thingy. Get a clue, haiku. Success! Finally, I did it. Long hours trying. Making pie is hard. Woohoo, haiku! Red or green pepper, potatoes, carrots, beef and green beans. What else to throw in the crock pot? Stew, haiku. Phil on snowy walk. No one shoveled. Who is to blame, me or neighbor? Sue, haiku. A sudden plop on my shirt. How did I forget about pigeon poop? Ew, haiku. Thank you. Speaking of pigeons, I would like to read a poem from David's book, Humble Doves. This is a part poetry about pigeons and part about trees and plants. So right now I'd like to read a poem entitled Vanity Pigeon. A good plume spray helps me feel whole, but merely the name of a cheese from goats makes me run to my colognes. What else could it mean to become an adult but the purchasing power for creams and powders? I swore off soap ages ago. Cleanse, tone, and moisturize, man. My mirror tells me beauty is freedom, though it's such a burden too. The staring becomes so tiresome, like for some, gray-eyed glances at their bum, yet it does fluff off my wings. My wife pokes fun at my obsessions. Your feathers are fine without products galore. I will beg to differ till the day I fly to that posh city park in the sky. And speaking of work by hosts, I will now read a poem by, yeah, go ahead and clap. That was a good one, David. I will now read a poem by the co-host, Rick Spizik. Stone Poetry is the name of the book. And the one of his that I'd like to read is called Pile on Pooty, It's Your Duty. All you witches and gizzards, let's grab 'em by the gizzard. Old Pooty's raising Cain, let's swamp 'em in the rain. I call on you wizards and witches, let's get those sons of bitches. Pooty and his pals and all their booty, these are times that are sadly a cutie. Now is time to do our duty and to pull out all the stops 'gainst Pooty and his pals go pops. Give the bastard what he's after, 5,000 tons of laughter. He wants booty, the sad and lonely M.R. Pooty. Get him 50 kinds of sorrow. Do it now, don't wait for morrow. The blood guilt is on him and it shows. I don't mean just rosy like his nose. I'm talking bloody like his deeds, from his forehead to his knees, for all the bloody, muddy deeds. Lose respect, this bloody terror. Teach him of his ugly error. Cast your spells 12 kinds of mischief, like a pontiff or a bishop. Use your prayers like ancient druids. Do it now. You can do it. Stop his army in its tracks. Do it now. Let's send him back. Lost in forests, muddy mess. Teach them 10,000 kinds of stress, arguing one against the others, just like they forgot their oh so ancient brothers. I'm sorry, RUS brothers. I'm not sure if that's a word or an acronym. And their charming kids and mothers. And there's even an illustration at the end. Okay, so I'd like to end with this next piece. It was included in Blotter's Jotters, which was an anthology put out by Finn Hall back in 2023. It's called An Off the Beaten Path Tour of Central Park. I love props if you hadn't noticed so far. Thank you everyone for coming on our tour of Central Park. I'm your tour guide, Dudley Do What, and I'll be assisted by Scout. He's the one wearing an Eagle Scout uniform plastered with every badge in the book. Good job, Scout. As you know, we're going to explore things most tour guides overlook. Yes, folks, these won't make it into Frommers. We'll enter the park here, and on our left is our first tour stop. If you look closely under this bush, I don't know what kind it is, not important. You'll see a collection of excrement. The local lingo would be shit. I don't know what kind of animals made this. It's a curiosity find. I see a couple people are peeling off from the tour already, but don't let that discourage you. The rest of us will forge ahead. Go on. Scout, did you put the bird in place? You got a rubber chicken? It was supposed to be roadkill. Well, all right, put it in place and hurry. Okay, people, look over here to the right. It's a two-winged butterfly. No, I don't know what kind. What's important is it's two-winged. Jot it down. Now, here on the left, Scout, there you are. People, if you could squat to get under these branches. Whoops, that branch just slapped you right in the face. Don't worry, Scout has Flintstone bandages. People often get injured on our tours. So under these branches, we often find, yes, there's one now, a flattened, well, that is, a bird carcass. No, don't touch. Yes, they often have that sickly yellow shade right after the death pallor kicks in. I don't know how this bird met its demise, a 100-ton gorilla, but it can't have been pleasant. Oh, I see a couple of bird watchers have left our group, but the rest of us will continue on. Oh, on your right is the Delacourt Theater where Shakespeare in the Park is staged. My God, must be a mistake in our itinerary. It's like a regular tour stop. Well, sure, go ahead and take a photo, but then we must be off to our next planned tour stop. Ahead is a spot where historically many people have crossed the road. I don't know how many or whether any chickens were among them, but for many years people were crossing over this piece of land. I see we've lost a few more people. Back at the Delacourt, still taking pictures, including Scout. Will no one else get injured? Yes, the three of us will carry on. The Delacourt dilettanti will miss the highlight of the tour. Let's see, is this the right tree? Yes, if you stand under this particular evergreen and look up really high, tilt your head, shade your eyes. Yes, you can see it now. It's not always visible, but when the light hits it in a certain way, nice when it happens during tour time, you can see the sun rays splaying through the branches. Now's the time to take pictures. You just can't put a price on nature, eh? But you can put a price on this tour. Thank you for your prepayment, but any tips you'd like to make now would be especially welcome. Our expert guidance comes at a cost to stay abreast of the latest unique happenings in the park, and we always strive to provide a tour unlike any other. Oh, thanks. I needed more quarters for laundry. Thank you. And thanks, a greenback. Don't forget the names Dudley Do What and Scout for the best and off the beaten path tours of Central Park. Good day. Don't let the tree hit you in the ass on the way out. That's it for me. Thank you very much, David. And thanks everyone for listening. I appreciate you bearing with me.
Yay.